Hi everyone. Recently, Omar and Faisal, both of us were in a meeting where there was a lot of heated discussion, and in the end, nothing got done. There were too many disagreements. So we asked ourselves, why are we here? What are we doing here? So the big question, why do people disagree? Faisal, what do you think?
So that's an interesting question. I think people in meetings disagree with each other because everybody comes with their own ideas. And the fact of the matter is that all the ideas may be correct at the same time.
Mhm.
It kept reminding me during that meeting, going back to that old story in which there were six blind men who were traveling on a journey, and they came across an elephant, and one of them grabbed a foot of an elephant and felt that it was a tree. The other person grabbed the tail of the elephant and felt it was a rope. But the beauty of the story is that multiple people were correct at the same time, and yet all of them missed the bigger picture. And I think that's what happens in these meetings.
You are absolutely right. So we also noted that if you agree all the times,
Mhm.
this stalls the progress because you're just agreeing with individual opinion. And what happens if you disagree all the times?
Yeah, I feel like if we disagree all the time, it turns into a shouting competition, and where people are just venting out their frustrations. And as we said before, multiple people could be correct at the same time. They just happen to disagree.
And we heard this a lot, like agree to disagree. And to some extent, this is great. But if there is no follow through, this just becomes a political thing. And yet, things may not get done. So, what do you think about disagreements?
So I think disagreements are healthy.
Hmm.
Why? Because we have to understand that every disagreement comes from a good thought process,
Hmm.
and the advantage of disagreements is that then it gives you a broader perspective of different opinions. And after multiple disagreements in a team, when you get to hear all different aspects of the same problem.
I fully agree. I think the diversity of opinion is so important. And again, I think this becomes a discussion. It does not become a monologue. And also, it leads to more like a shared decision making where everybody has input. Yes, there is disagreement, but eventually it leads to shared decision making. And what do you think? There are benefits, but still people don't disagree very often.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion that people don't disagree that often in real life, and the real gist of the matter is because in most of these meetings or most of these gatherings, there is a boss, there are coworkers, and there is always underlying fear that my opinion doesn't matter. And junior people may feel that there is fear of retaliation. That if I speak up, I'll be the one who'll get shot down.
I agree, and I think then when you have suppressed voices, this leads to suppressed opinions, and you don't get to know the full story.
And leads to frustrations
Mhm.
and hence not being able to work together.
So my big question is how to deal with it.
And I think many models have been described, as you know, but the best model, which I think, in my opinion, works is that in a team or in a group of people, when people are coming up with different ideas,
Mhm.
we should be able to be respectable to all the respectable to all the ideas. But at
Mhm.
the end of the day, when the team makes a decision after the disagreements are done, then comes the role of commitment to the shared goal, or commitment to the shared project, or to the shared solution that the team has
Mhm.
come up with.
So if 2 out of 10 people in a team did not disagree, but then once everybody has committed, and this is the pathway forward. So you mean that all of them should then work in the same direction and really works towards the shared goal, because at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
my role is there, but the cumulative or the team's goal is more important than my role. So once you agree, you may have disagreements. Once you commit forward, then it's good to move forward with the team's combined decision making. And I think at that point, keeping maybe your some of the emotional things, some of the ideas and identity questions, out of the way. I think that's important.
But the way I look at it is, if I disagree with the team in my team, and the team comes up with a conclusion, so I will feel my opinion is here, and the team's opinion is over there, and I should be able to let go of my ego and be able to commit to something which is higher than me, higher than my opinion.
Fully agree, and I think there is a good role of mutual respect. So we all respect each other. Sometimes the tone of your voice, how loud it is, how fast you are speaking, what kind of body language you are showing, this may not add all the value to your argument. And the flip side is, a great initiative, a great perspective may just get ruined because it was not communicated in a respectful or acceptable way.
Yes, I think the message, how many times we have noticed that the message gets stolen away by the tone of our voice.
I fully agree, and I think you talked a lot about this concept of detachment of idea and identity.
Yeah, I think it's human nature that if we dislike somebody, we automatically shun the best ideas coming out of their mouth, just because we disagree with, just because we don't like a person. And I think the art of leadership, or the art of running a team, is to be able to cognitively detach the ideas from identities of the people, because it is amazing to know that some of the best ideas come from worst adversaries, and we should be able to open that mind. We can't do that unless we're able to detach the ideas from people.
No, you are absolutely right. And I think the other important piece of it is that listening to everyone is so important. And then validation of their ideas. Sometimes validation does not mean that you are agreeing with their idea completely. So you listen, you validate, and this becomes therapeutic as well to the other party who is in disagreement with you, that
Yeah.
that my voice is being heard.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, I think, again, as we discussed in the teamwork, we do need to commit and move forward.
It keeps reminding me of John Maxwell's, and he keeps saying, "You listen, you learn, you lead. You listen, you learn, you lead." So I think the three lessons. But as we said, we have, after the discussions are important, disagreements are important, but at the end of the day, team has to move forward, and moving forward cannot happen unless, after all these disagreements, we all sort of commit to the same agenda.
And I think you have talked about listening and being not dismissive all the time. So really, hearing the opposing opinions is so important.
Yeah. The way I look at the leaders, to be honest, we all have dealt with leaders, and will continue to deal with leaders in all aspects of our lives. I think one of the key elements of good leaders are that they're not dismissive of different opinions. Some of the very smart people, as both of us worked with, are smart enough to know that an opinion is actually not great, but they are not dismissive. Why? Because they wanna have an open-minded concept of listening to all the opinions, because you never know which opinion can turn out to be a great idea.
I agree, and I think humility is such a great attribute. So, getting comfortable with the uncomfortable discussions, and I think this is something we have to do, and we do all the times. So, in the end, what do you want to say?
I think disagreeing and yet being able to commit to common goal is the pathway forward for all the teams, and for leaders, it's important to know that disagreements are okay. as long as we're able to express this in a mutually respectful manner.
Thank you, Faisal. And this will bring to the end of this session. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of the day.